something very new on the channel here today. So the good people from Eclipse reached out to have their entirely new product reviewed. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'll end up rambling like I always do, so check out their website and their Instagram page for more details. But the short and skinny is, it's a vegan ice cream that differs because it's 100% plant-based. Made from mainly, think like oat, corn, and cassava. And on top of that, there's no nuts, soy, or wheat. You know, all your major food allergens, even coconut, no coconut. They call it callously creamy. Well, I'll be the judge of that. They were kind enough to send 3 flavors: chocolate, Thai iced tea, and cookie butter. Now we're gonna start with the chocolate because it's purely ice cream. I always like to start with a base only so I get a good judgment of it. And starting with that consistency, it's pretty darn good, especially for vegan and 100% plant-based. The first ingredient is water, so that's always impressive. Now, it's not on the level of Salt and Straw, Cafe Pana. I wouldn't even put it on the tier of Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's, but for what it is, I gotta give them credit. The good is that it's definitely creamy with average density. I'll give them that, but you have to let it temper. And I'm talking like a 30-minute temper in the fridge, and you'll be about to where you need to be for that proper creaminess. You definitely have to be patient. The downside, and it's the only downside, is that I don't want to call it chalky, but it almost finishes a little, I'm going to say, dry. I don't think your average ice creamer would recognize this, but I certainly do. And I'll go ahead and say this description of the consistency is the same for all 3 pints or ice creams I'll be reviewing today, just so we can go ahead and get that out of the way. The chocolate is different, but it's still very good. They describe it as rich, creamy, and decadent, and I'll definitely agree. Now, it's a darker chocolate, but it's also milder in flavor, a milder bitterness compared to your usual chocolate. And there's 2 very interesting ingredients that I think contribute to that, and it's Dutch cocoa and coffee extract. Now I'm at the very bottom of this pint, and you know, it's been tempering quite a while now, and it just gets better and better. And like I said about the chocolate flavor, it is milder, but it is very well balanced. I must admit, I'm quite impressed. 7 out of 10. Next up is Thai iced tea, which is part of their chef series. And basically, Eclipse collaborated with chefs, and then the proceeds go to the charity of that chef's choice. Now, there's about 10 or 11 flavors. You know, I'll read you a few. I'm not gonna read them all. You should go check out their website. But sweet potato and salty black sugar caramel sound very interesting. There's toasted almond thyme is another one. Roasted plantain, coconut cream, and salted caramel. So very unique flavors that you should go and check out the rest of them. Now, I'll be honest, I've never had Thai iced tea before, never in my life. But for my research, it's basically tea and the spices that accompany the tea. Then they use a food coloring to dye it dark red. And then you add in condensed milk and sugar. So it's pretty simple. But when you add in that condensed milk, that's what gives it its signature orange color. Now, I really don't get any tea or spice flavor at all. It's mainly just milk and sugar, which is fine by me, but then again, that's not very true to its name. However, it is a great flavorful combination of milk, sugar, and vanilla. It's really that easy to sum up. It's just a sweeter than usual milky and creamy flavor. I was a bit nervous going into this one, but it turned out better than I expected. However, if you're a big Thai iced tea fan, you might find more flaws in it than I did. 6 out of 10. Last, and certainly not least, is cookie butter. Now, most of the time when I get a shipment in the mail, for the first time at least, I get this nice little card, envelope letter. It's always a nice touch. And the Eclipse team finishes this one by saying, P.S. The cookie butter is everything. Now, this is a velvety vanilla sweetness with chunks of golden cookies. Now, I think it's funny how in the ingredients list it never says, you know, cookie butter or Biscoff or speculoos cookies. It is listed literally as, what's it say, cookie pieces and spread. So that tells me right there, it's their own recreation, and man, is it spot on. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, spoiler alert, of the 3 flavors I've received, this is easily the best one. We have, or at least I think we have, what I like to call a beautiful mistake, and I love it when this happens. And basically, the base is not vanilla. I mean, you can even see from the color here, it's tanner than it should be. It's not a true vanilla color. And well, I stand corrected. It may be vanilla, but there's plenty of that cookie butter flavor that has milked into the base. So you have a mild and low-key sweet cookie butter base, which there's nothing wrong with at all, because when you hit the cookies, it's a much stronger explosion of cookie butter flavors. And you all know that flavor. It's a sweeter Biscoff, speculoos, gingerbread-like, whatever you want to call it, flavor that is also buttery and it's full of spices. On top of that, the texture of the cookies is flawless. Dense enough to have some substance to it, but still soft and gooey enough for your spoon to cut right through it. They're very chewy, and they also range in many sizes throughout the pint. Like I said, before this last review ever really got started, and you can probably even hear the excitement in my voice, but this is easily the winner of the 3-pack sent to me by Eclipse. 8 out of 10. Here's your take home. Yes, I can tell a difference in the texture of this 100% plant-based ice cream. But for the vegan ice creamer, or even the ice creamer who doesn't tolerate dairy, remember, this is callously creamy, which is quite the catchphrase, Eclipse. I gotta give you that. I think this is a wonderful substitute. The flavors are great. So even though I prefer the creamier real deal dairy, I do recommend you trying Eclipse ice cream. They do ship nationwide, so visit their website to see the variety of flavors listed. They do have quite a bit to see what you can order and have shipped right to your door. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next review.